Hello everyone and welcome back. This is the last video in our series of the 10 most common behavior problems with dogs. Our video today is going to deal with aggression. I have saved this video for last because it is a little bit of a complicated topic, and I wanted you guys to be able to work through some of the other videos before we dove into this one specifically. There's kind of two sides to the coin here as far as when I'm dealing with clients talking about aggression in their dogs. What I have found is that clients often will describe their dog as aggressive as a label, just my dog is aggressive. And it gives me an opportunity to kind of help those clients learn something about dogs in general. One thing I like to think about in terms of dogs and aggression is that this dog it's not aggressive. We all have aggressive tendencies, and some of us display those tendencies more than others, and depending on the situation. I don't like to think of a dog as aggressive as a personality trait, though that particular dog that other people may have described as aggressive or labeled as aggressive tends just to have these aggressive displays more often than other dogs, and there can be a lot of reasons for that. What I do encourage you to think about is, if you are quick to label your dog or someone else's dog as aggressive, stop and think about what it is that they are doing that makes you claim that they are aggressive. These aggressive behaviors can manifest themselves in forms of growling and snarling, showing teeth, lunging, biting. Every dog has the potential to show aggression, and we've talked about this in the past when we discussed lightly this topic in our biting video when we were talking about mouthing and nipping. But every dog has the potential to bite if they are pushed to that point. Every dog has the potential to display these aggressive tendencies if they are pushed to that point. So a dog who shows these aggressive tendencies more often than not, or more than your average dog, has been pushed to that point and feels that in most situations they need to rely on these aggressive behaviors to get them what they need or what they want. And that can be kind of a heavy thought if you think about what experiences has this dog had in its life to make it feel that way and respond that way. It's kind of a sad thought. Dogs with abusive histories come to mind. Honestly, they have had experiences in the past that have been traumatic, and these aggressive tendencies are much more likely to come out, and they're much more likely to exhibit aggressive behaviors towards people and other dogs, one or the other or both. But this potential to show aggression is, again, like many of our dog behaviors, a natural behavior. Without this ability, without their tendency to show these behaviors, they would not have survived. If you think about the way that they live in the wild, their need to hunt, to compete for resources, a dog that is not willing or not able to show these behaviors would not survive. So it is a survival tactic. Dogs who respond aggressively to situations are responding because they feel they need to in order to survive or get themselves out of this particular situation that they find themselves in. Aggression can be appropriate. I talked about the way that dogs will give warning signals when we talked about biting, and that sometimes a bite comes as a result of those warning signals being ignored, and that bite is warranted. Not to say that we should say, oh, it's okay that he bit because he ignored these behaviors you ignored the warning signs that a bite was coming, and so it's okay that they bit. I mean, it's not okay that they bit, but it's not okay that you ignored, or whoever ignored, those signals that the dog was radiating to get you to either back up or allow them to become comfortable again in that situation before they felt like they had to resort to that bite. So there are times when aggression can be appropriate. So sometimes a snarl is a warning, and that is an appropriate display of aggression. A lot of times you'll see this from dog to dog. A lot of times you will see this from an adult dog to a young dog. And this is how young dogs learn. They get too wound up, they get too playful, they maybe bite too hard, and that older dog says, you know what, I've had enough. So they curl their lip up at the younger dog as a sign. If you don't know what those signs are and don't know what you're looking at, it may appear as that older dog is now aggressive toward a puppy. In reality, it's no different than a parent giving a verbal warning to a child to stop a particular behavior. So not that we want to think in terms of our parenting style or our parenting corrections or choices as aggressive, being aggressive towards our children, but it's along those same lines. A dog that does a low growl or shows their teeth at another dog as a warning, that is an appropriate aggressive display. Just like when I give my children a very hard stare when they're doing something they shouldn't be doing. You know, I'm not necessarily being kind in that situation, but it's an appropriate level of correction. So there are times when aggressive behaviors that are exhibited are appropriate. And when this is done appropriately, when we see these behaviors such as warning signals, those signals need to be respected. That is how dogs communicate with each other. This is how we keep a dog from escalating into stronger aggressive behaviors. Recognizing when a dog is asking you to stop through their low-level aggressive displays, and then respecting it, following through, intervening when necessary. You know, if it's a young child behaving inappropriately with a dog, or two dogs playing together and one is being more rough than the other would like to be, if we see those warning signals and we can intervene, separating the child and the dog, or the two dogs that are playing, if we can intervene, the dog that is giving the warning signals knows that their language, their communication has been respected, and there's no need to escalate further into more aggressive displays or bites or things like that. There are times where, as we talked with biting, some dogs will skip those warning signals and jump straight to the most aggressive response, which is ultimately a bite. But that happens when those warning signals have been ignored. And like we mentioned before, any dog has the potential to bite. So a dog who has never bitten before, never showed aggressive tendencies, can be pushed to that point if their behavior hasn't been, they haven't been someone hasn't intervened before it has gotten to that point, and they feel like they need to rectify the situation themselves. So those appropriate aggression, leave me alone, warning signals are normal, as long as a dog is never pushed past that point. Though if you are experiencing some unpredictable aggression, bites or aggressive displays that are happening that you can't explain why, there may be underlying medical issues that need to be addressed by your vet before you look at a behavioral cause for the aggression. So one way you can kind of help yourself is by recognizing what your dog's normal behavior looks like when they're happy and they're healthy, recognizing what is not normal for your dog, and getting help from a vet to rule out medical issues. But another way to do this is to just increase, if you're a dog owner, you're only going to benefit from increasing your knowledge and your education about dogs, dog behavior, dog body language, and the way that you can interact with your dog to set your dog up for the most success. Positive only training methods and all of the things that we've kind of discussed throughout these videos. You don't yell, you don't punish, you ignore behaviors you don't want to see, you reward the behaviors you do want to see. If you're raising a young puppy, all of these things can help your dog become emotionally and mentally stable and recognize the appropriate levels of aggression to be used in various circumstances. I can say from my own experience, I have seen my dog give aggressive displays, but only in situations where she feels like she needs to. As she learns, as my children have learned to interact with her, I've always supervised very carefully my dog's interaction with my children, with other people, and with other dogs, so that neither, if it's her and another dog interacting, I know when to intervene before either dog feels like their aggressive displays need to be escalated in order to get their point across. So supervision is always going to be key, and recognizing what is an appropriate aggressive display versus one that is not appropriate or one that comes out of the blue. Truly recognizing when an aggressive bite comes out of the blue. More often than not, that's never the case. More often than not, the dog has given multiple warnings before that aggressive bite occurs. So being aware of what your dog is telling you is going to be a very important factor in dealing with aggression, in dealing with these aggressive displays, understanding what they mean. If you feel like you're truly dealing with aggression, escalating aggression, you will need absolutely 100% to get help from a professional trainer. Even a veterinary behaviorist can help you. Your dog may need different types of medication. They can suggest different types of training, or get help contacting a professional trainer that works specifically with aggression and helping you identify what exactly is going on and what needs to be done. To take away from, everything that we've talked about in the series, and most especially, a dog with aggression issues, is that you cannot get a well-behaved dog without investing time in training and without investing time in growing your knowledge base about dogs in general. A dog can't be expected to know what we want from them, how we expect them to behave, unless we teach them. So the process of working through all of these different behavior problems that we've discussed in this series, that's probably the biggest thing to take away from all of this, is that you have to teach your dog exactly what you expect. Nobody's born with impulse control. Nobody is born knowing what the rules of society are, how they should and should not behave here, there, or wherever. All of those things have to be taught and have to be learned. So if you need help, we can address many of your training needs. Please give us a call at 419-475-4101 if you need any kind of training help, but most especially if you feel like you're dealing with heightened aggressive displays from your dog. Reach out immediately. We can definitely point you in the right direction, or at least help you narrow down what it is that you're seeing and what it is you're experiencing. You can also reach me directly at 419-930-6229 or by email at training@awitp.net. I hope you've enjoyed this 10 video series on the most common behavior problems with dogs. Look out in the future for more videos coming regarding training, training games that you can play with your dog, things like puppy development, and even a little bit about who we are and what we do at our daycare, and see if we are the right fit for you. We will see you next time. Bye.